To the Most High Power, Young, may His name be esteemed today, tomorrow, even forever. All hearts and minds clear. Baruch Yahweh Young, bless Yahweh forever. I give you praises, oh Yah, for you have been good to me. You have been good to us. Todarabah, Yah, for this to see another day of life. I ask, oh Yah, that you may wash us and cleanse us from all filthiness. Forgive us for the times when we were afraid. Forgive us for the times that we did what we were not supposed to do, and the times that we did not do what we were supposed to do. With you, O Yah, there is redemption. With you, O Yah, there is forgiveness. For you give no man or any woman a license to sin. But you, O Yah, command and require for all to be obedient. Please give us the strength, O Yah, to love. Please circumcise our hearts so that we will know how to love properly. Please be with us, O Yah, as we gather on this rising for service, O Yah. Please be with us, O Yah, so that we may be edified, so that we may be uplifted, O Yah, so that we may be refreshed, so that we may be restored, O Yah. Remember those, O Yah, who may be going through hard times due to their physical afflictions, O Yah. Whoever they are, O Yah, wherever they are, I ask that you may remember them. Please remember those who are going through afflictions of the mind, those who are battling with heavy thoughts, those who may have a broken heart, O Yah, a broken ruach, a broken spirit. Remember them. Remember those who are maybe going through financial troubles, those who are going through family issues, those who are going through maybe even legal issues, oh yeah. But I ask, oh yeah, that in this Shabbat, that we may have rest, that we may be refreshed, and all worries may be put aside for a season. All worrying will cease. I ask, oh yeah, that you may remember me, remember us. And I ask that these words may reach you and share my name, oh yeah. And I ask that for the word that comes forth, it may be within our hearts, and that it will not depart, and that we may understand, that we may be edified. That your will be done, oh yeah, and may one me. So be it, so be it. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Aman wa Aman. At this time, I will turn it over to Moreh Samak. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Can we be heard online?
Thank
Can we be heard online? Close. All right, told out, everybody. All right, we're just gonna start off with this little Hebrew warm up because we want to try to deal with some of our Hebrew on multiple levels. So we got those that are just beginning to learn their letters. We have those that are already reading. So we want to just do a little quick Hebrew portion today for those that are just beginning to Hebrew, and then we do a little reading for those that's already reading Hebrew, just so we can stay in practice. So we have up on the board is the Hebrew consonants. This is the modern script, as they come to call the modern script. Um, each one of these letters or consonants, they actually have a numerical value. We won't go into all that today. But Hebrew is read again from right to left. It's read from right to left, all right? So we're going to get the Yaladim before we go into letters one by one. I just want to do a little warm-up for the Yaladim. Y'all ready? Yes. All right, let's do it.
Aleph.
Y'all try to do them together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Aleph. Bet. Gimel. Dalet. Hey. Wav. Zion. Chet.
Not check.
Oh, Ket. Tet. Yo. Kaf. Lamed. Mem. Noon. Samek. Ayin. Pei. Sadi. Kuf. Resh. Shin. Sin. Ta. Sin. Shin.
What's the difference between a shin and a sin?
Shin is a dot on the right, and then sin is a dot on the left.
All right, let's do it again.
Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wav, Zion, Chit, Chet. Oh, Chet. Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Noon, Samek, Ayin, Pei, Sadi, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Sin, Ta.
You ready?
Ta, Sin, Shin, Resh, Kuf, Sadi, Hey, Ayin, Samak, Noon, Mem, Lamed, Kof, Yo, Tet, Tet, Zayin.
Well, y'all cadence dropped out on me, huh?
Wow.
Hey.
Hey.
Gimel.
Gimel.
Bet.
Bet.
All
Aleph.
right, let's try it again.
Aleph. Bet. Gimel. Dalet. Hey. Wav. Zion.
Tet.
Tet. Yo. Yo. Tet. Ket. Zion. Wav. Hey. Dalet. Gimel. Bet. Aleph.
So you remember what I said about cadence, right? When you go in cadence, you should remember what comes next versus being able to identify. Y'all did pretty good coming back. Once you got back to this point up here, you kind of lost your letters, all right? So I need to be warmed up a little bit, so I'm ready for us to speed it up. Are y'all ready? And y'all say it like y'all mean it.
Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wav, Zion, Tet, Chet, Yo,
Ayana. Everybody.
Hey,
Ayana. Everybody.
Hey,
Zion.
Ket, Chet, Yo, Kof,
Leilani.
Call.
No. I just want you to be ready.
Samak.
Everybody.
Hey,
Call. Lamed.
Mem, Noon, Samak,
Leilani, you ready?
Yeah. Hey.
Everybody.
Hey,
Milan.
Hey.
Everybody.
Hey,
Milan.
Hey.
Everybody.
Hey,
All right, y'all celebrate each other. Y'all say it like y'all happy when y'all get it right, all right? All right.
Hey.
Back to everybody. Everybody again.
Sadi.
Sadi,
Kuf.
Kuf, Resh, Shin, Sin, Ta.
All right, let's do it.
Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, 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 Wav, Zion, Chet, Tet, Pay, Hey, Wav, Zion, Chet, Tet, Yo, Kof, Lamed, Mim, Noon, Samak, Resh, Pet, Cool, Sadi, Hey,
All right. Good job. Y'all give them a round. All right, so for those that are just getting used to it, we normally have the names of the letters written up here, but for memorization, we don't want to write the letters up here because they would just be reading the names that we have written. But I'm just going to go with the first row. So the first row, this is going to be the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is going to be Aleph. It has the numerical value of 1. So the way we count in Hebrew, we didn't actually have the numbers that was written. These letters also have numerical value. So Aleph, or Aleph, some say Aleph, some say Aleph, has the numerical value of 1. We go from 1 to 10, and then it jumps
to
all right?
20.
Then it jumps to 20, going on up. It jumps about 10. So you start off going counting 1 to 10, and then once you get to the number 10, it jumps up. All right. So we're going to go here. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go over the first 5. This is numerical value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to give the names for those to memorize. And it's normally a little cadence that you try to do when you're trying to memorize them. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey. So that's just going to be the first row. So again, Aleph. This is the second letter Hebrew alphabet, which is going to be Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey. All right, that's just to get this. So first of all, if anybody's not doing the letters as of yet, learn the first 5. When you come back next week, you should participate with the Aladdin, and you should know your first 5 letters. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey. What I normally suggest is anybody that's trying to get the letters, just to write them out. When you write them out, write the name of the letter, write the sound of it, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey. If you know the sounds, try to pronounce the sounds as well. But for right now, to memorize them, you write the letter 10 times each, and as you write it, you say what it is. Aleph, 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 Aleph. Or if you want to do a row, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, and you write your rows 10 times each, it's going to help you recognize and remember the letter that you're writing. All right? And so, like I would tell anybody, if we don't practice this, we will never retain it. And retaining Hebrew is not as easy as you think, but it's not as hard as you think either. Anything that you don't practice, you will not retain. All right? So the reason why we have to write them 10 times a day, and even I myself sometimes still go back through and I write them myself, just to keep them fresh in memory, because now that I know on sight, being able to know just to write them down in order, sometimes in order to do that, I need to continue to write and practice, because I'm not accustomed to writing this as I was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? So that's the way you try to get it in your memory. So again, we have Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey. These are the first 5 letters. And right now, if those who are just beginning to the Hebrew, if you would get in your mind, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey. Not trying to take anybody too fast. I've seen people learn the alphabet in one night. There's some people that really want to learn the language that in one night they've learned it. It's just whatever time you put into it. There's going to be others, and I'm not saying you have to do it in one night, but what I am saying is if it's something that you desire to do, you can get it in one night. You might not have it fluent in one night, but the point is you can start, like you say, I'm pretty comfortable. I wrote these 10 times, I wrote them another 10 times, I done did about 30. I have this, I know Aleph now. Some people already know this row, then you work the next row, and work them until you get them all. Then we move on to the vowel points. This was just the beginnings, because we have 4-year-olds in the room. Sometimes we may have someone younger than that. We want every level of age range to be able to at least grasp and be able to see what the words are written in the text. Therefore, if they're reading the Bible in Hebrew, they can use a concordance, they can use a Bible dictionary, a Hebrew dictionary, and they can at least recognize the characters, go into a dictionary and see what it is, and start getting some of the words. So this is just our first portion for the day, just a little Hebrew warm-up. Children, y'all did good. We're gonna have some reading happening next. All right. Readers online. We're gonna start with you all first. The readers online. So let me get it set up. We're gonna be coming from the book of Bereshit, starting out chapter 1, which again is Genesis chapter 1. Bereshit chapter 1, which is Genesis chapter 1. All right, we have a coat, Serena online. She has a hand up. All right.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, coat. All right, let's just read and you just have fun with it, my sister. You can, since you've been reading so well, if you want to read it, you want to do some of the words that you can identify along your way, you can do that. First, read it first all the way in Hebrew. If you want to go back and break any of it down, you can, or if you just want to continue to read, whichever way you want to do it, my sister. I just want you to get your practice in.
Okay. Bereshit, bara, Elohim, 8, Hashemayim, Wait, Haaretz, Haaretz,
Okay.
Hayata, Tohu, Wabohu, Wakoshek, Al, Panay, Ha, Taho, Ta,
It's a whole.
Tahom,
Okay, correct.
Waruach, Elohim, Mirkafet, Al, Panay, Hamayim. Wayomir, Elohim, Yehi, or, Wayahi, or, Wayar, Elohim, Et, Haor, Kitob, Wayabdil, Elohim, Bain, Haor, Ubain, Hakoshek, Wayikra, Elohim, Laor, Yom, Walakoshek, Korah, Layala, Wahi Bo Wahi Ereb, Wahi Boker, Yom Echad.
Yeah, hallelujah. Good reading, good reading, good reading, good reading, good reading.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Adon Mikael, you're up next. Begin with verse 6.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Wayomer Elohim Yehi Rakia Betok Hamayim Wihi Mabdil Bain Mayim Lamayim Wayaas Elohim Et Harakia Wayabdeo Bain Hamayim Isher Mitakat Larakia Ubain Hamayim Isher Me'al Larakia Wahi Kain. Wayikra Elohim Larakia Shamayim Wahi Ereb Wahi Boker Yom Sheni.
All right, hallelujah, hallelujah. Good read. You're going to read more in just a moment. So, what? Good reading, good reading, good reading. Good reading. All right, we're going to come back to the Hebrew reading in just a moment. So, Hebrew readers, be prepared. And I will go ahead and tell you what we will be reading from if you want to go ahead and start looking over it while I'm still having a portion of this discussion. So, we will be reading, next, we're going to be reading the book of Shemot, which is going to be the book of Exodus. Give me one moment. Exodus chapter 23. I'm going to want verses 12 through 13. And also, we're going to be going to Joshua chapter 23. And I believe it's going to be verse 7 that I want you to be able to read in Joshua chapter 23. Just give me one moment before we get to the reading portion. So there was a discussion that came up in my home while my Isha was sort of kind of switched where I was going to be going with the culture portion today, just to bring this out, because a lot of times when things come out, that I feel like should be informative to the Mishpakai, and we can use it for teaching, I generally try to bring it because it's something that many of us may not know, and there's just things that we don't know. So the Most High told us that whenever we come out of the lands where He brings us from, and He brings us into the land that He promises us, or when He calls us out from anything, or wherever we dwell at, wherever we stay, we're not supposed to follow the traditions or the customs of the land, right? We're not supposed to follow the traditions or the customs of the land. So what commonly happens is, like Hanamel said last night, Israel will either do one or two things. They will either follow Yah or they will follow the gods of the nations. So they're going to follow somebody. It's either going to be the Most High or the gods of the nation. The sad thing about it, when we read through the history of our forefathers, a lot of times they always want to gravitate to going back to doing what? Following the nations, which was the big thing the Most High said, do not do. When He brought us out from Mitzrayim and brought us out from Egypt, He brought us out unto Himself, and then He said, I'm going to give you instructions. These are the instructions you follow. I'm the only Elohim you to serve. Have no other mighty ones before me. All right? So what I wanted to touch on was something that we've talked about here before many years ago, and everybody might not be aware of this, but when my Isha was doing children's school with Shemaiah, she was going through teaching her different things about states and so on and so forth, just doing her homeschooling. And so when I got home, she was sharing with me things that she's seen from her going through her curriculum that she's doing with the baby. And said, did you know that the North Carolina seal has two gods on it, or two goddesses on it? So when you actually go into looking at it, most state seals, or most things that the world does, is associated with a god, a false god. So even though you have people that say they're atheists, mankind has always believed in something. They just didn't want to believe in the Most High. So a person will use the term atheist and try to make you think they don't believe in anything, when in reality, the whole world and the whole system that's made up has always been something related to some type of worship of some form of God. And the thing about it is, and when you really look at it, and it saddens me and it angers me at the same time. Everyone can embrace everything of every other God, but no one can embrace everything about the one true Elohim or Allah, whose name is Yah. They can embrace every other name, they can embrace every other culture, but Yah's, right? And that's the problem. So we should be able to see that that's already a design by the adversary to have people thinking that way. So the reason where I'm going at today is that even not only does these state seals and when you actually go into DC and things like that, there's certain things, when you look at the Statue of Liberty, all these things have some association with some God or some type of worship, but then they make it look like it's something dealing with the state or with the country. But these states and countries are actually doing what? Sealed in the name of something, some form of worship that they've slipped in, and you may think you're not doing it, which a lot of times you don't consider yourself doing it. Once it begins impressed into your being, into your heart, when it says, Most High says, write my word, he's gonna write his words on your heart, teach them to your children, so that when they grow older, they will not forget them. It is hard for us to unsee and unlearn some things. Why? Because it's been impressed on us, even though we didn't think we was worshiping other gods. But the point is, they have so much going on around us in the way society is made up that we don't even know it's always contributed and given honor to another God, right? So what I want to go into was the days of the week. Even the days of the week is associated with names of gods. The days of the week is associated with names of gods. I'm going to give just a little in regards to the days of the week, just from some stuff that you can actually look up online for yourself. The names we use today are derived from Roman and Anglo-Saxon, which get a lot of their stuff from Babylonian. So a lot of Roman customs, they still brought forth some stuff from Babylon or Babylonian customs. The names of today, the names we use today are derived from Roman and Anglo-Saxon gods and celestial bodies, a system adopted centuries after the biblical texts were written. So after the biblical text, some of these things were they were put into place also. It says, so when we see, when we were just reading, we know that in the very beginning, we see that the Most High goes through what? A 7-day cycle for us. And what we never see him do is call any of the days of the week after any gods. He called them by their numerical order and their arrangement that they came in. So you have, when in Genesis 1, it says Yom Echad. Yom Echad is going to be the first day, even though we call it Yom Rishon. So in Hebrew community, if you hear someone say Yom Echad, that is going to be day one. Yom Rishon is still talking about the first day, because Rishon, Rosh, means head or chief or the beginning of something. So a lot of times go here in Hebrew communities, they would say Yom Rishon. Depending on Hebrew dialect, they may say Yawam Ra'ashwan. All right. So Yom Rishon, we tend to use more of what's commonly called today the biblical Hebrew, because if you go into the land, if you want anybody to feel like you are sound and you can prove what you're saying, most of the world have texts, books, and everything. You can learn these things, and that's what the majority of the world's going to be using. I do not knock the dialect one chooses to use. I'm just expressing the reason why we use what we use here, because in the world of academia, it will not look like you know what you're talking about sometimes if they didn't approve of it and you don't have any source where you can go and prove what you're saying, all right? So just stating that. So Yom Rishon would be the first day of the week. My reason for saying this is it's very hard, even for myself, to try to remember the order of the days of the week to actually say it. I had to learn this and had to start utilizing it. So when we're saying things, if we can start to try to learn to circumcise our minds, and when we say, hey, you want to meet together for lunch on, if it's the 6th day of the week, we want to use the term for the 6th day of the week. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would be the Hebrew word for the 6th day of the week? That way we don't have to say, what is the 6th day of the week, children? Commonly called. Friday. Commonly called Friday, right? So on the 6th day of the week, we want to get together. Instead of us saying Friday, we can either say 6th day, if we remember it in English, or we can try to get familiar with the Hebrew days so that we can start using terms that will be more pleasing in the sight of the Most High. All right? So these days have the names of these gods in them. All right? So, so the Anglo-Saxon influence. The English names are a combination of Roman and Germanic influences. For example, Tuesday is Mars Day, and became Twisday. Wednesday was Mercury's day, which became Woden's Day. All right, so just letting you know that behind these things, there's stuff that we have no clue about, and we do that willingly, freely, and easily But if we present something and say, well, the Most High tells us, and we're going to go to the text in a moment, not to make the mention of other guys out of your mouth, sometimes we're unknowingly doing these very things. And so once we have a knowledge that we're doing certain things and how this world is always made up to give honor to their power. Remember when Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that's not their name. Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, or Azariahu. That's what their names were. What did each one of them have in their name? Hananiah, or Hananiah,
Yah's name.
Mishael, or what Elohim is. It was associated. Abednego, Shadrach. They also have the gods of the country of Babylon. Now, so when their names were switched, they were switched to have the names of these pagan gods in their name. They didn't want them to have their Hebrew names. Why? Because in ancient times, a lot of people already knew that names had meanings, and a lot of times the way you was naming yourself had some reference to your gods. That's why when you're actually reading the text, it said that Israel was surnaming themselves. They would start surnaming themselves. Some would call themselves Yisrael. Some would start putting Yah in it. They start to surname themselves. We're coming back to our culture and heritage, and that's why you have such as my wife named Moreh. You have one of my brothers, Lamadia. You know, you have people that have Yah in their name, Azariah. You know, Yah is my helper, the help of Yah. Yah is my help. When they naming themselves, they're putting Yah in it. She don't want to be Azarnigo. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not giving reference to another. But they have strategically placed these things, and we've been doing it unknowingly. So am I saying that the Most High is looking at us like we in just sin? No, he winks at us in our ignorance. But once we start to know this information, we want to share it with everyone because it's amazing to me, and it saddens me how they've done so much that pretty much everything that's in society has something to do with a God in some form of worship. Everything. That's the reason why when people say we taking it too far, y'all trying to be over righteous. We're not trying to be over righteous. We're just trying to learn to be righteous. And we have a lot to circumcise. All right. So hold up. Let's see if you trying to come in the room. All right. So when you go into and you looking up, so they actually when they first was naming the names also, like moon, Sunday had to do what? The sun god, Sunday. Even Saturday was considered Saturn's day. I'm only mentioning it for teaching purposes. Now we're not worshiping Saturn. However, we don't understand that these days had the names associated with. So we're trying to start becoming into culture and custom and teaching in culture portions these things so that we can be aware of it and start to try to purge ourselves and using things. So if you was talking to somebody in your family, of course you wouldn't probably want to say Yom Rishon. They're not gonna know what that is, but you can still say first day. Well, what do you mean first day? Well, what's the first day of the week? They're gonna say Sunday. Well, you can say what? Right. So since you understand what the first day of the week is, I just use the numerical value because in the Bible, the Most High used numerical value or the numerical day of arrangement of that day. So I prefer to go back to a textual way of referring to the days because did you know? And you could even share a little information with them to show them these things. So it's not that you judging what they say, and if they say, you'll say, oh, don't say that. You know how we get. We learn a little information, and then we smash everybody like they wicked and we knew it forever. Right? No, that's not how we relay it to them. But at the same time, you can say, hey, well, I use first day, second day, third day. And that way it's going to help you also remember what the first day is in Hebrew, because you know what it is in English already. And then you can just say first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, and seventh day to your loved ones and even to others until you get the Hebrew terms or the Hebrew names. So one of the things that I'm going to start going into is the days of the week in Hebrew. But I want to go to the text first. So let's go first for the readers again. We're going to the book of Shemot because the word always tells us to prove all things. Shemot chapter 23, Torah Rabbah, which is Exodus chapter 23, Torah Rabbah. Shemot, Exodus chapter 23. And when the sister did that, that was also an example of what the text tells us in the Brit Kadashah. So in the Brit Kadashah, and we're not going to get all into the thing about speaking in tongues. I just want to share what the sister just did. So it tells you that in the Brit Kadashah, it says if a person speaks in what they commonly believe to be an unknown tongue, it said they're not to do it what? In gatherings. Unless there be what? An interpreter present, someone that knows what's being said. So no matter how spiritual a person may feel, and I'm not here to say whether tongues is right or wrong in this segment, But what I'm saying is anyone that feel like that's a super spiritual thing they're doing, then the Ruach should also lead them to know that it was actually rules in place for when it's done, how it's to be done or not to be done. And so it says when you are in a gathering or when you come together in the ecclesia, when you're in the assembly, if one speaks in an unknown tongue, there should be an interpreter present. If there's not an interpreter present, it shouldn't be spoken. So when I just said Shemot, the sister did what she's supposed to do and said Exodus, just in case someone did not know what Shemot is. And we have to get back to, we normally teach, or we used to teach, but we've been getting so used to using Hebraic terms, but we should always try to use English terms, the familiar terms, as well as the Hebraic terms. So Torah Rabbi Akot for helping us with that example. And that was an example. That she interpreted what I said so that if anyone heard me say Shemot, it would be beneficial. How would they know what to turn to if they don't know what Shemot is? That's also the visual of what the Most High says in the Brit Kadashah, the New Testament. When a person speaks in a tongue that others don't know, there should be an interpreter present. If not, it does not benefit the people. All right? So, Torah Rabbah for that example, Most High, Torah Rabbah Akot, for you going there for us. All right, let's go to the book Shemot. I'm still in the wrong chapter. Shemot, commonly called Exodus, chapter 23. And while we're focusing on the days, you know I had to go ahead and focus on the day that we're in. That's why I'm starting at verse 12 first. Nathan, you can come on up, get ready to read. You can get to the podium so you can have your book. And make sure you read just as loud as the video game play. Read loud so they can hear you. Shemot 23, chapter 23, start with verse 6.
You said 6?
23:12, Shnika. Because it starts off at 6. Yeah. My mind already there. Go on with it.
I can't find 12.
You can't find 12?
It's right here.
Yeah, right chapter 23. Yeah, 23. Right. So the book is also the same way. So you got this one. And now you can find 12. Right. All right.
Start.
Yes, sir.
Sheshet.
Which is 6. That's why I was saying it's 6. So Sheshet, which is going to be 6
Yamin.
days. Yom is a word for day. Yomim is going to be plural. You know.
Taseh.
Asha, which is the root word, which is what you do. Tasha is putting it, making something you shall do. Okay.
Maaseka. Ubayom. Hashabi.
Okay, so right here, Hashabi'i. Hashabi'i is the ordinal number 7. All right. So this is 7. Hashabi'i. Read on.
Tishabot.
Tishabot, which is going to be actually the word for Shabbat. Tishabot. Okay, read on.
Lama'an. Yonuk.
That's a feudal patak. So feudal patak. Remember, generally the vowel comes after the consonant, but when it's at the end, that's what we call a feudal patak. So the vowel will be pronounced before the consonant. So you know how we say ruach. So we say ruach because the patak is under something. So what we have here?
Yanuak.
Wanuach.
Shorka. Wakamo Reka. Wayi. Besh. Bane.
Talk louder, talk louder.
Bane. Amataka. Wahagir.
All right, hallelujah. Good reading. One more verse. Ubako.
Asher,
Mhm.
Amarati,
That's really more Amarti.
Amarti, Ale Kim,
Mhm.
Tisha, Tisha Meru,
Tish.
Tish Maru, Washem,
Mhm.
Elohim,
Mhm.
Akerim,
Mhm.
Lo, Tazat, Tazat Keru, Lo, Yisha, Yishama, Heka,
Okay. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right. So again, Mr. McCall, when we go to unfamiliar text for the readers, like I said, when they've been rehearsing and reading the book of Bereshit of Genesis, there's some words they're really familiar with. They know the arrangement, they know the cadence, and they kind of know what comes next, and so it's kind of memorized. Even though they still recognize and do it, when they go to a new text, even including myself, we will slow down until we get familiar reading from a different text. All right? So I'm going back to the English. It says, 6 days shall you do your work, but on the seventh day you shall rest. That thine ox and thine donkey or ox may have rest, and the son of thine handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed. So I just want to start off here because we're in the Shabbat, and the Shabbat is of utmost importance that we observe and that we keep. And this is a cultural commandment that the Most High gave to the children of Israel to make sure they know to rest on the seventh day. And it was specific for who to rest. It's specific for who to rest? Everybody. So when we look at the Most High's word, and when you actually want to start looking at the Most High's people also need to know what these commandments are and keep them to the fullest. So I've heard people that say, and I know some of our brothers and sisters can be different too, but I also know some of what is considered the Jewish and some family members that I know in New York. When I say family, I don't mean biological, I mean brothers and sisters that's in New York have said that Jewish people have people do work for them on Shabbat because they won't do it themselves. You know, even there was a sister that was on some show was saying how she actually worked for a Jewish synagogue because they don't hire people sometimes to be on the inside to do their accounting from the membership. They hire somebody outside and let her be working when the inside's supposed to be working. But what does this say? 6 days shall thou do thy work, but on the seventh day you shall rest. Thine ox and thine ass may have rest, and the son of your handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed. So it's saying who? Everybody should be refreshed on Shabbat. It's a day of refreshing. It's a day of refreshing. It's a day of resting. It's a day of be rejuvenated, all right? And that is the seventh day of the week. So it tells you that what? Sheshet, 6 days, you should do all your work, but on the seventh day, you shall rest. All right, now the point that I was wanting to get to. And in all things that I've said unto you, take you heed, meaning you take heed, you remember these things, and make no mention of the name of other mighty ones or gods, neither let it be heard out of your mouth. So it says, make no mention of the names of these other ones. And so in reality, what it's actually saying is don't even remember them. Don't remember them, is what it's actually saying. Don't remember them and don't speak of them anymore. So when you come out from someplace, when the Most High said, I'm calling you out from something, that's what it literally means. We're still in an Egypt mindset ourselves because we still have Babylonian traditions, Roman traditions, all types of stuff mixed in with how we live our life today. And I'm going to tell you, it's not as easy as we think to get it all out. Because a lot of it we don't even know. And then once we learn it, we're more accustomed and we are more this than we are what the Most High wants us to be. Because we've been this for so long, and now we have to do what? Work on changing, work on growing and maturing. So with that being said, this is a commandment that we don't what? Don't mention any other mighty ones. Don't be talking about them. You know, so don't make the mention of their names out of our mouth. So for teaching purposes, I said some of the things today so we can understand what it is and we were teaching, but it should be nothing we continue to proclaim. It should be nothing we do. And once we know these things, I don't want to be referencing them. So in conversation, now I'm not saying when I'm at work and I'm in society doing business that you're not using what's on the calendar and what people recognize, but I am saying we need to start coming out of it. Like in our normal conversations, the people that we know, we can use it. You know what I'm saying? It's very seldom I have to use the name of a day of a week with anybody at my job anyway. As long as you know what days you're supposed to work, you show up to work, you do your work. You ain't got to say, oh, the day is such and such anyway, right? You ain't even got to say the name of the day of the week. Unless they ask you a question about something that happened on a certain day. Like for my job, they may call me, hey, it was something that you did at this address on this date. It was on this, they say it. You know what I'm saying? I might say, well, what day was it? You know what I'm saying? Because when they try to ask me, what did you do here? I may say, what, but I don't have to say what day it was, right? So the point I'm saying is that we are mindful of these things that the Most High say make no mention. Once we realize that the world has been honoring all types of other gods, so to the point that everything that they do, naming to seals, to naming statues, to the name of the days of the week, the name of the months, even the months associated with it. So when we learn these things culturally, that's a culture. Everybody has a culture. That's why when Daniel and Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah went into Babylon, they wanted to do what? Purge them from their culture and do what? Immerse them into their culture. Dump them in and pour it all on them. Strip them of their name, strip them of their diet. I want you to eat unclean. I don't want you to pray to the Most High. I'm going to change your name. Everything is what? Their culture. Why? Because their culture is dedicated to what? Their mighty ones. And their mighty ones are many. So once we really see this in the Word and we get that understanding, we say, you know what? Then our days need to be the days that the Most High called them by. All right? So, Zamiri, I want you to read next. Joshua, chapter 23. You ready for 6 and 7? All right, let's do it.
Wakaza 10, my old leash more, wala salt et call hakatu base there Torat Moshe Labil B
Look at it again.
Labil T Sur Mimenu Yamin Ushmowal.
I'll take that for now. Verse 7.
Labil T Bo Bagwon Ha'ele Hanish.
No.
Huh?
Go back to this. one.
I don't know what that is.
You know, that's right, you read from the book. Go back to the third word on the line. That starts with Bet, Gimel, Y, Yod, Mem.
Bagoyim. Oh, I didn't see that.
See that. There you go.
I didn't see that point. Okay,
which is
Bagoyim.
nations. The nations, okay, read on.
Ha'ele. Hanish Arim. Ha'ele. Itkem. Uba Shame.
That's correct.
Okay. Elohechem. Lo. Tazkiru. Walo. Tashbi'u, Walo, Ta'ab, Ta'ab, Ta'abdun, Walo, Tishta, Kawu, Lahim.
Hallelujah. So here I'm just going to read a portion. I'm going to go back up just a little bit more. So I'm going back to verse 4. She read from 6 and 7 just to get the Hebrew practice in. It says, "Behold, I have allotted unto you for inheritance according to your tribes these nations that remain from the Jordan with all the nations that I have cut off, even unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun. And Yah, your Elohim, he shall thrust them out from before you and drive them from out of your sight, and you shall possess their land, as Yah, your God, spoke unto you. Therefore be ye courageous to keep and to do all that is written in the book of the Torah or the law." So when you heard us say Torah, that's the law of Moshe, "that ye turn not aside therefrom to the right hand or to the left, that you come not among these nations, these that remain among you, neither make mention of the name of their gods, nor cause to swear by them, neither serve them, nor worship them." So we can see here the Most High said there's some people he moved out of the way. He cut them off from being amongst you to try to get you around him. And then the residue that's still around you, these people that may still be around you in some of these lands, what? First of all, don't even think about the ones I moved some out of your way. There's going to still be some that's around you. But even those that's around you, when you come amongst these nations, these that remain among you, neither make mention of the name of their gods, nor cause to swear by them, neither serve them, nor worship them. So that's the portion for today. Mr. McCall, as far as want to go into the culture portion today. Culturally, the Most High was calling us out of culture into what? He was calling us out of culture into culture. You was immersed in their ways. I cut them off from being amongst you. I got some people out of your way. There's still going to be some residues around you a little bit. But even when you get around them, don't remember the ones I moved and their guys. The ones that are still around you, don't what? Don't learn of them. Don't mention them out of your mouth. Don't remember them. Don't try to get to know them. Don't be accustomed to their customs in any form or fashion. All right? So the Most High called us out of culture into culture. Out of the culture of many gods into the culture of the one true power whose name is Yah. And with that, Mr. McCall, give all praise, honor, and esteem to the Most High. His name be esteemed always and forever. Any questions or comments? So next week, I will be giving you the days of the week. So right now, we have Yom Rishon, which is the first day of the week, or some may say Yom Echad, which is day 1. Yom Echad is day 1. Yom Rishon is what they consider the first day of the week. We already know we're into what? The Shabbat. Shabbat is what? The Shabi'i, the 7th Yom of the Shana of the week, or of the Shabbat, so it's the, of the week. So you have Yom Shani. So we have a lot of days, but I had the sheets, but I kind of left my sheets home. So I didn't bring the sheets. I want to give everybody a sheet to take home to practice. So next Shabbat, Most High willing, and my help, if you would, please remember for me to bring sheets next week to hand out for those, so we can learn the names of the days of the week in Hebrew, and we can start utilizing them as a mishpachah when we put our announcements out. Of course, we're going to put the date, so if you still don't know what it is, you still look on your calendar and see the date. We want to start trying to use as much of our culture as we possibly can while coming out of culture into culture. And with that, I give all honor to the Most High, and he be esteemed. Any questions, any comments before we move forward?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So for months, what do you use for months? Like, what would you say for the month?
When do we keep Pesach?
The third.
You said it. You just said it. You just said it. So we do the months too. So yeah, the months have them also. Because I already knew you knew it. So a lot of times we are in culture and don't even know we're in culture because we haven't had a discussion to even focus that we already using certain things as culture. Because I already knew she knew it. You know what I'm saying? That's why Isha was sitting there smiling. She said, Ibib, you know what I'm saying? Ibib is the month. Now, even with that, they've changed the names in the community. They started using different names even for that, but still those terms are still more Hebraic than, because they are Hebraic terms, than using the days of the week as they are. So like I said about the weeks, you can still say the first month, second month, third month in that regard. And the first month is a Abib. And I will tell you that I have to go through and refresh on months myself, because months is one that it's the main months that I know that we use for feast days is the ones I normally retain. So as we try to get back into culture, because that hasn't been my full focus, like trying to get the months, because I don't have to say the months, but that's where we're trying to get. And y'all know I'm just transparent. So we're doing this together. That's the reason why I'm doing culture portion. I want to embrace the Hebrew language again, because that's one thing I've shared with some of you don't know, that I came into the world in 97, in the 97, beginning of 98 is when I started this journey. And I learned Hebrew then. And I knew it for some years because I was in a congregation that used Hebrew kind of continually. Then when you get out of it and you're not in a place that uses Hebrew, then you stop using it, you stop studying it, and then next thing you know, you pick it up and you're like, I don't really recognize any of this because I'm not a natural Hebrew speaker. So I have to practice and retain it. So that's why we do this as a mission, because as a family, that's why the goal is to get very fluent with the text to the best we can, but it's only gonna happen by what? By routine and repetition, you know? And then we also wanna do some of the conversational Hebrew. That's one of the things that, you know, Nasik Shema, he's big on this conversational Hebrew. So right now, we're focusing on trying to get familiar with the text and some cultural things, but then we're also working on terms that can be used throughout the assemblies, for common terms that we can start using in conversation. So we can start as a people, we can start when we come together with other assemblies and things like that. He's working on some stuff to try to have some conversational pieces that we can be familiar with. We can start using more Hebraic terms, because even some of the modern Hebrew terms that they use in speaking in the land, it does not have the same biblical wording. Some words are new. The modern Hebrew, what we're doing now is actually biblical Hebrew, right? So, but modern Hebrew is using the same characters, but then they have words that they've newly created. And so sometimes your thought process, when you look at Hebrew real quick before I give it to Kanakya, Hebrew have root words. So some stuff to us, we may think a statement don't mean something because we don't know, because we don't know the new language that they've created or the new words they've introduced. We're trying to go based upon Hebraic root from words that we see in the text that the forefathers was using. So we trying to build our words from that root system. And so that's what he's working on, is trying to go back to building the root system from the biblical words for us to use for our modern day conversation. So with that, I give all praise to the Most High once again. I yield. I see another hand up. Yes, sir.
Uncle Samak, it shocks me because it's crazy how these nations will like put in so much effort to serve another God or put their names in that Israelites don't know they are using. Because I've been using days of the week like Monday, Tuesday, my whole life, and I never knew that. And it goes to show how much effort they put in.
A lot of effort.
Yeah, just so we can get our course into serving y'all and follow their other nations. It just shocks you.
Yeah,
like, it's crazy.
And it's something. I wasn't thinking about state seals. I wasn't looking at her that. And she wasn't thinking about state seals, but she's teaching from the thing. And I mean, they tell you in stuff. You can go online and look up the days where they tell you it's about God. It's right before us, but like they used to say, you want to hide something from us, put it where? Put it in the book. We ain't reading, we ain't studying it, and it's pretty much the world is designed off of the worship of other gods. So that's why when somebody's saying they don't believe in a God, the world is designed off of worshiping gods and the things that they attribute to being a God that the Most High has created that they worship. It's all throughout society. So, Torah for you sharing that. Torah for you sharing that, nephew. All right, at this time, I'm going to yield the floor to Don Kanakya for his 2-minute warning.